Hi folks, welcome to Blue and Gold Talk, the video on the channel if you're new, that I usually just ramble, talk, blab about, of course, the greatest team on earth, guys, the Buffalo Sabres. Come on. So this time around, I'm going to do just that. I'm just going to go random after what I seen yesterday. And I know I'm not imagining it saying this. I just feel like it's a brand new start this year, guys. And I'll start this video with that. It's a brand new start. And it's a damn good feeling yesterday. You just feel like, and people that say it's only preseason. Do you remember last year's preseason or do you forget already? Like this team yesterday looked like they decided not to score 10. That's kind of how it felt yesterday. They looked like they almost decided, okay, we've done enough to these guys tonight. Let's just close this out with no injuries, you know? And then they got a little nasty with us and we said, no, we're fighting back this year. That's another thing. We're fighting back this year. You know, the fact, guys, that we had some nasty to us, we had some physical play to us, and I know the hits sucked. The hits sucked, but some of the hits were brutal. You know, there was some, like the Kubel hit. There was some real serious moments yesterday. I was like, wow, you know, you'd think that the Sabres not just want to beat them, they want to beat them up too. And I was really, really happy with yesterday's overall game. Not just the end result, but the overall game that I watched. And, you know, we're so close to the season starting that I can't wait. I can't wait. I want to get this thing going. I want to see what we are this year. I really want to see what we're made of. I want to see if I'm imagining all this or if I'm right. Because I believe I'm right that they're getting in for sure this year. Like, I just feel it this year. It's something I can't even explain. It's just, I think we're going to roll into the playoffs. I could see the Sabres winning 50 games this year. And I'm not just making that up, guys. I honestly, in my heart, believe that. That's after following them 50 years. So I have the right to say that. Well, over 50 years. So I have the right to say that. I've earned my dues. If I'm wrong, you could say, well, you're wrong. I'll say, yeah, I was. But you know, we're so due for something to happen with this franchise that it only makes sense it's Lindy, you know, that does it. Gets us back where, you know, they got rid of him years ago. I remember before they fired Lindy, I was like, I heard Pagula say something that my blood ran cold when I heard him say it. He goes, you know, it's my perception that Lindy Ruff is a good coach. This is what he said. I'm like, oh my God, he's actually thinking of firing this guy eventually. Because, you know, Lindy was, you gotta remember, he inherited kind of Lindy's team, even though he bought the team. This was still Lindy's team. And Darcy's as the GM. Like, this was they were the dynamic duo. These guys got us to the conference finals 3 times in 8 years, you know? And once to the finals, let's not forget. So, with 2 completely different squads. Completely different squads. We had one guy that was on the 99 team, that was on the 06 and not even on the 07 team, which was Jay McKee. Before he went and signed with St. Louis as a free agent, remember? McKee was on that 99 squad. He was on the 06 squad, and then he went free agent that summer, and we lost him. So it was, you know, like they did 2 different teams within a decade that could have won Stanley Cups. 2 completely different squads. So please don't tell me, you know, they didn't know what they were doing. You don't know what you're talking about if you say that. You know, you just didn't watch hockey back then. You just didn't like them and you want to convince yourself in your noodle that you're right. You know, you're not. The statistics say otherwise. 1 Stanley Cup Finals and 1 Game 7 conference finals. 2 different squads. 2006, 1999. Do the math, guys. Twice in a 7-year span. 2 different squads. So they were really moving the team right back then. It was hard to see Lindy go when he got canned. And what was crazy was they actually made Regeer do it, right? If I recall, right? Regeer fired him. And then Regeer, of course, got canned eventually. And like, you know, I mean, some of the dumb moves we made, no kidding, karma caught up to us after that. And now, you know, we're trying to set things right this year. And better late than never, guys. That old saying, better late than never. Let's hope that, you know, Lindy wins a Stanley Cup in Buffalo. I seen one of you marking the notes today. You should say no cups. I got no idea what a comment like that's about. Really, like, please explain. When you guys leave a note, at least explain it. You know, if it was a cheap shot, I don't understand it. But when you say we should say no cups, well, I would rebuttal and say, yeah, but no cups, ... yet. The key word we say as Buffalo fans is yet, okay? So people that say we're not going to win a Stanley Cup, you guys have never won the cup, I'll just say yet. We say yet as Sabres fans. We don't say, I know. You know, like, no. I leave that for like other fans of the, you know, I won't mention Toronto. You leave that for those kind of fans that want to panic about their team. There's no point in panicking. We've suffered the suffer, guys. We've been through the mill. We've been hurt. We've been destroyed, stepped on, made fun of. Feels like we were spit on by entire fan bases. I cannot believe, like, Toronto fans are picking, Toronto channels, sorry, not fans, are picking us dead last in this division this year. Dead last. Behind Montreal. Are you kidding me? We are not going to finish behind Montreal, guys. And Montreal, I'll tell you right now, this is their first streak of losing, consecutive losing seasons they've had in over 80 years. Montreal had not had back-to-back losing seasons till just recently. Since the time of Hitler, back in the Second World War. That's how long ago that Montreal had not had a back-to-back losing season. Seasons, I should say. So, and the other team, for those of you that are Sabres fans that didn't know this, right before the tank years in Buffalo, okay, the 14 and 15 seasons, the last time Buffalo had back-to-back losing seasons was 1970 and 1971. 70-71 and 71-72. Sorry, I'm wrong. 71 and 72, I should say. So that was the first time, and Buffalo went 43 years without back-to-back losing seasons in all that span. And the only other team in the entire NHL that could say that was the Montreal Canadiens during that span. Every other team, every team that won Stanley Cups, had dynasties, all had back-to-back losing seasons in that 43-year span. So at one point or another, not the Sabres. So the knock on our team, guys, especially you younger folks, okay? You know, it breaks my heart when I read a note like, I hope the Sabres get in. It'll be the first time I ever see them in the playoffs. Oh my God, that just kills me to hear it. God, it kills me to hear that. It does. It's heartbreaking to read. It just is, because it's so unfair you've had to live this. But you know what? I do believe you younger fans are going to see the best era in our history, okay? We're not just going to make the playoffs and that's it. We're going to win the Stanley Cup. And we're going to win more than one Stanley Cup, I believe. I do believe that this Sabres team's headed to greatness. The way we built this team, the way we've been patient, the way we haven't bent, the way we said, get the hell out of here, Eichel. You don't want to be part of this? Get out of here. We'll replace you. Everybody's replaceable. Especially ego issue people, you know, like those are the worst type. The people that have ego problems and self-centered problems and they're self-righteous idiots, get them out, because that can affect the team as a whole. But that's not what this video is about. Video is about our future. I don't care about our past so much, you know, except our great past. Our 70s era was still, to this day, is it the greatest era? Yeah, up to this day. But I'll tell you what, the 90s were sure good. You know, I mean, you know, the late 90s were good. It wasn't the greatest team. No, it wasn't. But we had the greatest goalie the game ever seen in Dominik Hasek. We're never going to see another goalie like that. I always say that we will never, ever see another goalie like Dominik Hasek, guys. Never. And I mean in the entire league. Forget now. What would Hasek make now in the NHL in his prime? You tell me. You tell me. He was making $7 million 26, 27 years ago. You know, he'd be making about 12 or 14, right? He was that awesome. And those of you kids that didn't get to see him Listen to what your parents say about him. Not one word of a lie. You know, 6 Vezinas in 8 seasons when Patrick Waugh and Marty Brodeur were in their primes, okay? And he was on a team that he had to make a lot more saves than they did. He didn't have the luxury of like Scott Stevens and Niedermeyer in front of him. He didn't have that luxury in Buffalo. He didn't. So, you know, this guy was the greatest goalie I think we'll ever see, ever. As we go forward, guys, this year, really, I think we should just not forget where we came from. Let's remember the good years. Let's remember LaFontaine, McGillney. Let's remember, yeah, and I'll say the thing about LaFontaine, McGillney that sucks was our playoff history with them. Nothing, really. Brad May, that's it. That's it. That was the only moment, guys, that we did anything in the McGillney-LaFontaine era. You know, it's sad because that team probably could have won a Stanley Cup, but if you looked at the team, it was kind of like they were headed towards a blue-collar team with those 2 superstars, and once they were gone, then we depended on one superstar, which was Dominic Hasek. And then we had leadership, though, with like Pekka, you know, and they're good memories, though. They're good memories. Like when the Sabres made the finals in '99, were any of you that surprised? I wasn't that year. Because '98, we came so damn close when Washington beat us. If it wasn't for Barnaby mocking the Washington fans, I think we would have made the finals in '98 also. But that, you know, I'm sure Lindy gave him hell after for doing that. You don't mock the fans. You do not ignite your opponent, ever. You keep your mouth shut, and you never ignite the opposition. Never. Never, because that will backfire, my friends. That will backfire every time, 10 on 10. Unless you have a right to do it, which we didn't, you know. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about this season, as you can tell, because I really feel like these bad times are coming to an end soon. If the Sabres miss the playoffs this year, okay, I think I'll probably be more surprised than anything I've seen. Then 06. 06, I was surprised. I didn't expect them to be that good that year. Really, I didn't. I was just hoping to make the playoffs, I remember, going into that season. I wasn't expecting a powerhouse. They didn't even start good that year. They started something like 6 and 7 or something. I can't remember, but they didn't start very good. I was like, oh boy, here we go. You know, we're going to start this now, because they got in a bit of a losing streak. And then they went crazy. They went something like 35 and 7 or something, with injuries even. Team went off. I'll tell you what, guys, Lindy would be a bloody hero this year if this team went off and finished like 2nd place in the division this year and was scary by playoff time. Scary. Because you guys remember what happened in 06. We came out of nowhere. And to this day, I think the majority of you will agree we should have won the Stanley Cup that year if it wasn't for goddamn injuries. The injuries ended the dream that year, not the Carolina Hurricanes. That Hurricanes team we would have beaten inside of 5 games if we would have been healthy. The way we were rolling. All the pistols were firing. Lindy had a grip of that team. Ryan Miller was coming of age at the right time. Oh my God. It's still heartbreaking that it ended that year without a Stanley Cup, that one. That's the only year I can honestly say in my entire existence as a Sabres fan, guys, we should have won the Stanley Cup and we didn't get it. I can agree that some of you would argue 75, yeah, Bernie Perrin, I know. But, you know, I'll always go back with the idea that the Sabres matured too quickly in 75. They came out of nowhere, but there you go. A young squad that comes out of nowhere. All of a sudden, in the finals, up against the defending champions. Wouldn't that be something, eh? If the Sabres upset the Florida Panthers this year in a series, convincingly. Guys, anything can happen. So I'm going to leave it there. I've said my share, I think, tonight. Talked your ears off, so I want to thank you guys for listening. I'm feeling good about the season. I'm feeling right about the season. And the truth is, you folks deserve this to happen. Like, you're going to see this year, if the Sabres start something like 30 and 10, you're not going to see me here on the channel freaking out. I'm going to be the same guy that you've known since we were the worst team in hockey when I started this channel. And I've noticed some new subscribers, and I'll talk to you guys just a little bit before I cut out. I started this channel mostly because there was so much negative Buffalo Sabres channels, I was ready to go to jail. That's how bad it was. I couldn't take it anymore. So I said, you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm going to start a channel and try to bring some sort of creativity and positivity about the team that we love. It's too easy to run down somebody when they're down. That's too easy. Tell you the truth, that's wuss mentality. What somebody does with guts is you stand behind what you love during the hard times. You don't give in because it got too tough. You know what, that old saying, what doesn't kill you make you stronger. Well, I'll tell you what, we're a stronger fan base than we were 13 years ago. I'll tell you guys that, okay? We're a much stronger fan base now than we've ever been. And we get in the playoffs this year, it's going to be the loudest friggin' arena, I can tell you, in the entire NHL. That whole Jumbotron might come crashing down to the ground like the other one because the ceiling's going to shake. And the confetti will be flying and the toilet rolls will be flying in Buffalo, guys. Let me tell you, those days are coming. So get ready, okay? Get ready. I'm not just saying this just to pump you up. It's the truth. You know, that like the Bible says, the truth will set you free. Let go of the past. It doesn't matter no more. All that did was make us resilient. Made me resilient. I'm ready. Screw the entire NHL this year. To hell with all of them. I don't care. The only team I have a soft spot for, honestly, New Jersey. New Jersey. You know, they went through some hell over there, like building that team again. And they're in that New York market where they get criticized like crazy. Never got respect for all their Stanley Cups. Oh, they were boring. They were boring. Meanwhile, they hoisted it 3 times. Give me a break. You win 3 Stanley Cups, you're doing something right. No matter what, you know. So I don't care if we win the Stanley Cup playing a trap. I don't care. If we win a Stanley Cup, guys, it'll be the most exciting experience of my entire life. I'll tell you that. So I'm going on too long, guys. Sorry. You know, I'm just passionate. I love this team. Can't wait. I can't wait for these fans from these other clubs to shut their mouths, especially new teams like Vegas. You know, it's all ego over there. And no, you know, it'll be so much sweeter when the Sabres win a Stanley Cup than the team that bought one, you know, like, and cheated to do it with the manipulating of injury time and all that stuff. Oh, please, you know, got no time for it. I don't care. It's a forgotten Stanley Cup already in my head. It happened and went so fast I could care less. It's not memorable to me. All right, guys, done. Oh, and before I close it out, who's shocked at this, guys? Can you imagine this is happening? Robin Lehner's causing trouble again. Wow, what a shock. What a head case. Guy steals snakes. What kind of human being that makes millions of dollars has to steal exotic snakes and try to sneak them across the border? I'll leave you guys with that. Guys, thanks for listening. I'll see you guys tomorrow in the pregame. Have a great night.